Welcome to the AFN Sports Arena with Jantzee and Tory. I'm your host, Jantzee Ellis, joined in the AFN Okinawa studio by Air Force Staff Sergeant Tory Kuzumano.
Simmer down now.
They're happy
Simmer
again.
down. Simmer down now.
Okay, what's up? Anything new in the world of Tory?
It's the holiday season, Jantzee. I'm feeling the spirit.
Me too. I'm excited.
Very
for
much
this year.
so. I have the Santa Claus hat. I've been trying to
saw
wear it. It's a little
that.
difficult to wear over the headphones.
Yeah.
Try it. I can't. It doesn't work.
You can wear it the rest of the day.
Okay.
Well, I finally succumbed to the dreaded Okie cold.
Oh, no.
I had to cancel all my plans this weekend. I was so sick. My husband was calling me Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So I'm like, I'm dying. He's like, you're not dying. You just don't have anything better to do.
And sad.
Yeah. Oh, man. But one big positive of this is I got to watch all of the college football conference championship games. And, man, were there some big ones.
There were some great games, too. There were some lopsided games. There were some great games, too.
Games with big implications.
Hi.
But first, we were lucky enough to have Mr. Dave Ornauer back on island. And he has an update for us about what's going on in the local Okinawa sports world.
The Ornado.
Take it away, Dave.
Could this be the year Kubasaki Wrestling revives and dominates Far East? First time since 2013. Given how the Dragons performed in their first dual meet of the season, they at least have a chance to shine on Okinawa. Kubasaki trounced Kadena 39-22 at home last Wednesday, and a solid mix of veterans and newcomers did the damage. Devin Wilcox, Victor Saavedra, Kobe Carl, Luke Mosley, and Oakley Mueller each won bouts by technical fall. Jacob McConville won by pin for the Dragons. Kadena got pins from Grant Rogers, Alex Hernandez, Braden Frederick, and former Far East champion Demetrio De La Rosa. We have some things that we know we need to work on to come back stronger and harder, Rogers said. As for basketball, Kadena's boys have broken out of the gate strong with 5 wins to begin, most recently a 67-60 win Sunday at Kitanaka-Gusuku with newcomer Montez Young Jr., a freshman, scoring 19 points. Kubasaki's boys continue to rebound from a season-opening loss by downing Zion Christian Academy International 76-48 on Saturday, Okinawa Christian School International 82-54 on Friday. Alonzo Higginson III averaged 22 points, Damian Dorval 20.5. And Kubasaki's girls got their first win of the season, 41-34 on Saturday, behind Sierra King 16 points. That's the local Sports Minute.
Great. Thanks, Dave. So let's get back to talking about who made it in the college football playoff. Number 1 is Clemson. No surprise there. They beat Miami easily and proved they deserve to be in it for the 3rd year in a row. Second is Oklahoma. Again, no surprise there. Baker Mayfield and company put the hurt on TCU and ran away with that Big 12 championship. Georgia was able to avenge being knocked from the number 1 spot a few weeks ago by Auburn.
Go Dogs.
Beating the Tigers 28-7 and taking the SEC title. So as was assumed, they were given the number 3 playoff spot. But now here's where it started to get a little tricky. Number 8, Ohio State was able to take down previously undefeated number 4 Wisconsin handedly and take the Big Ten championship. And this is where the debate started. Seeing that number 2 Auburn was taken down by Georgia, the only team to beat Alabama, debate swirled that the Crimson Tide should be in that 4th and final playoff spot. But then there were many people arguing that Ohio State should be in, seeing that they had a tougher strength of schedule in Alabama and they actually won their division and conference title. The debate went on and on in the media. I know how you feel about this one. But it seemed as though the College Football Playoff Committee knew exactly what they wanted. Alabama was named the number 4 team and will be playing Clemson on New Year's Day. What? What do you think?
I think it's malarkey.
Really?
I think it is pure and
They made the wrong choice.
unadulterated animal droppings, Jantzee.
Okay, Ohio State lost 2 games. One was a huge one to unranked Iowa.
Listen,
by like 30 points.
This was not recently. Okay,
Yeah.
This was earlier in the season, right?
But it's judged off your body of work.
Yes, I understand that it's your body of work, but I just don't think that one loss is egregious enough to completely erase the wonderful things that they've done all year long.
Do you think Alabama's one loss to Auburn, a hot Auburn team, in a rivalry game is enough to negate them?
Here's the thing. Yes.
Okay. I think you're just an SEC hater.
No, it's not that, Jantzee. It's that I have such a hard time believing that Alabama earned a spot in the college football playoff from home while sitting on the couch championship week. I believe that entrance into the college football playoffs should be earned on the field. I don't think that winning the Big Ten should have automatically guaranteed Ohio State a position, but I think with their victory in the game over the previously undefeated Wisconsin, they earned the right to be in that college football playoff.
But even that win, I mean, there was some ugliness. There was a few turnovers.
Of course, because it's two good teams playing one another. I mean, I'm not saying that Ohio State is a perfect team. We obviously know that they are far from it. Alabama's not a perfect team either. To me, and we've been talking about on this podcast for weeks, Jantzee, this is a reputation entrance for Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. They just know, oh, it's Alabama. They're great every year. They are very good again this year. Let's just give it to them. Even though Urban Meyer has a reputation of his own.
I think there were two parts to this. I think, I'd hate to say that media and hype has anything to do with it, but everybody wanted to see Clemson and Alabama back at it again.
Of course they did.
Another rematch.
Ohio State would have been a great, you know what? They got blown out last year by Clemson in the college football playoff, so they would have been hungry for revenge. That's a storyline all its own.
Yeah.
I definitely think these things play a part in it, trying to play up to the storylines and that sort of thing.
I just think there would have been a lot of backlash and turmoil had they let a two-loss Ohio State team in.
I don't know.
Over Alabama.
I don't know if there was.
I guess we'll never know.
More with letting them in, or more now, because there is a lot of backlash now. I really feel for Ohio State. And it's not, I mean, I am biased against Alabama because you know my feelings on them, but in a vacuum, objectively, if you were to take the team names off of these two, I still think Ohio State should have still been in. Well, they earned it. They earned it on the field, Jantzee.
Okay, well, we shall see how it shakes out. I'm hoping for a Clemson-Oklahoma championship. I think that'd be the right matchup, and it gives the Heisman Trophy leader
all of this is a moot point, right? Because,
exactly.
I mean, I don't know. You can never count Alabama out.
Yeah, that's
tell you
true.
What, they gave them in. They let them in, and they have a chance to take it, too. But I agree. Yeah. Let's go Clemson-Oklahoma.
Yeah, it'll be, I think, the 6th or something like that, because they play those semifinal games on the 1st.
Right.
And before we get totally off of college football, we have to briefly mention the crazy coaching carousel taking place. Every year, once the season is over, plenty of coaches lose their jobs and moves are made. Reactions happen. But one big-time deal was made this year. Jimbo Fisher, who brought home a national championship for Florida State and made them a contender every season. And just
very good coach.
Yeah. And just a few months earlier, Fisher had vowed, quote, "There's no reason for me to go anyplace else. This is a destination job." End quote. But then their starting quarterback and best offensive player went down for the season opener against Alabama. Then Hurricane Irma hit, giving them 21 days to stew about the loss, and it just snowballed from there. The Seminoles went from contender to afterthought in roughly a month, becoming the first preseason top 3 team since Tennessee in 2005 to finish 500 or worse.
It's rough.
And for winning programs like that, when stuff starts going bad, I mean, fingers are flying, blame's being placed.
Fingers are flying? That
pointing, they're flying around and landing, pointing on people.
I thought they were chopping fingers off down there. My God.
I mean, they're
Take
up in
college
arms.
Football seriously.
I mean, those Seminoles, man.
I know, man.
Pretty
Jimbo
crazy
Fisher, but he's a legend. He's a legend.
I mean, he's been there, I think, 8 years, and he had made a lot of changes, and all of the word coming out is that he just always wanted more. He was always pushing them. And Florida State was always like, okay, we'll give you new facilities. Okay, we'll give you this. And I think they just finally got tired of just giving.
Sure.
Especially when, last season they weren't great. This season they had a lot of promise and they didn't live up to it.
Okay, but I ask you this, just like we said about the college football playoffs, shouldn't body of work count for something when it comes to a coach? You cannot.
But he didn't get fired.
Right.
He got... He fell forward. Let's talk about this. So then naturally the rumor mill starts working, and word had gotten out that Texas A&M had Jimbo as their top target. And then it was announced, 10-year deal for a guaranteed $75 million.
That's quite a bit of cheese.
Yes, that's $75 million.
Gravy train is chugging with that one. It's a gravy plane,
yes.
Gravy planet at that point.
Making it the richest deal in college football history, meaning he now gets paid more than Nick Saban of Alabama. What do you think? Did he make the right choice? Did A&M make the right choice? Is he worth it?
I don't know. I mean,
he'll bring in the recruits.
It's tough to say. For that hefty of a deal, he better bring home the bacon. He better deliver in
guaranteed.
that 10 years. He better win no less than 3 national championships.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make the college football playoff in his first year, they are already going to be talking about firing this guy.
But see, they can't. It's guaranteed.
I mean,
he could have a buyout.
They're going to have to pay him all that money.
He could have a buyout, but he's guaranteed.
I'm just saying,
$75
he's
million.
setting himself up. Listen, he's betting on himself. He clearly believes in himself.
Yes.
I think he's a wonderful coach. I think he's a wonderful recruiter. I want him to do well. I like Texas A&M. He's going from a wonderful program at FSU, a storied program, to another wonderful and storied program
Just
at A&M.
a different shade of maroon.
Yes. slightly different colored jerseys they'll be wearing, so we won't have to change his attire too much.
And we'll have the 12th man, but it does kind of show, where because he wasn't getting paid a whole lot less at Florida State. I mean, it kind of shows what motivates him, because he did have that program in the palm of his hand. He could have done whatever he wanted.
You just need a new challenge, Jantzee.
Yeah. But you usually want to go out on top.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
But
I mean, somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, we want to give you a job for 10 years and pay you $75 million."
Be right
Suddenly,
there.
all that sentiment goes out the window.
And I don't know his wife, but I mean, if it were me, I'd be like, 10 years? That's a lot of security.
Yeah,
You're
right.
Especially if people had been, blaming, like, oh, Jimbo doesn't have it anymore. We're barely going to make a bowl this year.
It's like a pitcher when they get traded to a new team. Sometimes that change of location re-energizes them and they find their success.
Yeah.
And maybe Jimbo Fisher can rediscover what makes him so great.
Yeah. It'll be
at A&M.
It'll be fun to see. Now, back in 2012, the average head coach salary for major college football coaches was $1.64 million. That was the last average I could find. Obviously, it's probably increased a bit since then. Nick Saban of Alabama currently earns in the neighborhood of $7 million, and then Jim Harbaugh at Michigan State now earns about $7 million also. But he took home around $9 million last season. His deal was structured weird. They did what they had to do to get him out of the NFL.
Yeah.
Needless to say, coaching college football is quite lucrative if you're good at it. But we shall see how the saga of Jimbo Fisher plays out. I'm excited.
We know how his bank account's going to play out.
Right?
My goodness.
Okay, speaking of sagas, did you hear that LeVar Ball pulled LiAngelo out of UCLA?
Yes, I did hear this.
Oh, my goodness. I almost couldn't believe it when I heard it. I mean, I could obviously believe it because it's LeVar, but I think it's a completely dumb decision.
It's to the point where you could put LeVar Ball's name into any headline and
be
I
like,
would believe it.
Okay.
LeVar Ball walks on the moon. I would be like, wow, really?
Oh, cool.
SpaceX sent him up there? That's crazy.
Yeah, he is crazy.
Hope there's nobody up there for him to annoy.
I know. Okay, so as you may remember, LiAngelo, the son, along with 2 other teammates, were caught stealing Louis Vuitton sunglasses in China on a school trip for an exhibition game. They were detained and eventually released. The players all apologized and thanked President Trump for aiding in their release, even though Laval said that they shouldn't have. However, when they returned, UCLA said that they were suspended, quote, indefinitely. Now, what does that mean? Nobody knew for sure. But people were saying that they could be back as soon as for conference play next month. But apparently that wasn't enough for LeVar Ball.
Yeah, I got a quote from him on this.
Yeah. Direct quote.
Crazy to me. It's crazy. Quit whining. Your son... Anyway.
Okay, so he said he didn't think that it was fair that the country of China gave them a lesser penalty than UCLA. Give me a break, dude. Your kid stole. He admitted to it.
He created an international incident.
There needs to be ramifications for that.
It does not reflect poorly on just UCLA, but on the United States of America.
Period. And
in
if they
country
hadn't,
China that loves basketball, you'd stand a chance to damage that reputation and seriously jeopardize the revenue that the NBA and basketball gets from China for America.
And if UCLA hadn't put these, this slap on the wrist to them, they would have been scrutinized.
I'm surprised that they did not outright kick them off the team.
Me too.
I think they understood what LiAngelo Ball meant to UCLA's program in terms of people noticing it. You know what I mean? The newsworthiness of it.
Yeah.
Eyeballs on the program. So I think that they went with that. And it wasn't enough, apparently, for old LeVar.
Yeah. Now, LiAngelo has 0 chance of being drafted in the NBA. I mean, not that he was on anybody's scouting list before, but now he certainly doesn't since he's only a freshman and didn't complete his required season. I guess the best he can hope for is maybe to play in a foreign league, but he's also forfeited his free education.
Yeah.
And from everything I read, LiAngelo, he's the middle one. He is the most reserved. He is quiet. He always got good grades in high school, but he didn't go to any dances. He didn't he's just very quiet and reserved compared to his 2 brothers. He has 175,000 followers on Twitter and he doesn't tweet,
It's crazy.
He seems like a, relatively quiet, good kid. Obviously made a really bad decision.
Right. Being reserved doesn't necessarily
No.
make you a good person, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he could have at least got his education, played some basketball.
Yes, it was a
life.
dumb choice on a lot of different fronts, I think, and a knee-jerk reaction. But again, when it comes to LeVar Ball, not much surprises us these days.
Also, another thing to keep our eye on is that the youngest Ball, LaMelo, has already committed to play for UCLA. So we shall see where that high school prodigy ends up.
We shall indeed.
Drama. But okay, we're starting to drag on a bit here. What do you say we do a 2-minute drill?
That sounds good. I love the 2-minute
I know.
drill.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
All right.
Okay, 2 minutes on the clock.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Ready.
And
This weekend, the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson outdueled the Philadelphia Eagles and ended their 9-game winning streak, also knocking them from the number 1 seed in the NFC. Should the Eagles start panicking? Are their Super Bowl hopes in jeopardy?
not in jeopardy. I mean, nobody's Super Bowl hopes are certain. I think the Eagles have the biggest shot in the NFC. They needed this adversity now to grow from it, and I think they're going to get there still.
Okay. Tiger Woods made a return to professional golf after a 9-month absence and an even longer drought of being competitive. And he actually looked pretty good, going 4 under par 68 over 4 rounds and beating many top-ranked PGA stars. Is Tiger back? Will we ever see him win another major?
I think he has the talent to do so. That's never been the question.
Yep.
And it hasn't even been all this scandalous stuff that's been going on. I think it's been a distraction. He needs to be healthy. And it seems like he's finally healthy. If he can sustain that, absolutely he's going to win another major.
I'm excited. I'm kind of rooting for him. Number 3, it was just announced that New York Giants coach Ben McAdoo and GM Jerry Reese are both fired. Who saw that coming? The week after benching Eli Manning in favor of Geno Smith, to much outcry from the entire sports world. 2 questions. Will Eli return as a starter? And will he hang around next season?
I do think he's going to. They've already announced he's going to return as the starter.
Steve Spagnuolo, his
That's right.
QB coach.
It's the interim head coach. And will he be back next season? That's going to depend on who they hire.
Yeah.
I sure would like to see him in a different uniform, but he
Broncos.
loves the New York Giants. He loves New York, and I think that's where he wants to be. So we'll see if they can
So
make
maybe
it
his
work out
feelings
for him.
weren't hurt too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, final question. Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots is suspended for 1 game after a body slammed Tre'Davious White, laid on the sidelines after White intercepted a pass intended for him. Is Gronk on your punk list?
Gronk is absolutely on my punk list. But
was
it's
cheap.
weird with him. It's weird with him because I do, like, in spite of myself, I like him a little bit. But the dude is a punk. That was inexcusable.
Yeah.
I saw the video of it and I was like, what are you doing?
What are you
That
thinking?
almost like made him go higher on my punk list right there. That's unsportsmanlike, and I think the NFL as a whole needs fixing on so many fronts, but the first and foremost being player conduct. When it comes to stuff like that, late hits like that, I'm glad they suspended him for that. It's the
agree.
right call. He needs to not ever do that again. Another thing is players calling for pass interference, complaining to the refs. Shut your mouth, play the game.
Yeah. Okay, well, we almost made it. We almost made 2 minutes that time.
We were right there.
We were right there.
Yeah, I just decided
You felt
to get
passionate
on my
about that.
soapbox. You
It's
know what I
okay. You're entitled.
mean? Okay.
Well, okay, that's going to have to do it for us today. Thanks for joining us in the AFN Sports Arena. I'm Jantzee, and he's...
Air Force Staff Sergeant Tory Cusimano.
So dramatic. We hope you hit subscribe and join us next week. Stay safe out there, and don't forget, you have to look good to play good.